blessed, we are gifted. Ogun State will never be the same for good reason. To see that Ogun State that will develop. When we are getting PhD applying for it, and we are getting over 10,000, over whatever thousand, I said, so what are we going to do? So to all of those people that came to collect the form, they will say, Amosun did not employ us. And lo and behold, we have even increased from 2 to maybe 3,000. So if about maybe 12, 15,000 walk away without getting the job, you know, they are even more than those that we have employed. So, in all honesty, to them, we have not employed. So the same thing happened. We did it maybe about over 100, and it wasn't enough. So we kept complaining. We now realize that one, when we were campaigning, we promised that newly born pregnant women, when they are pregnant, they are prenatal, which is the antenatal, during childbirth and postnatal, that will be responsible. And up until when the child turns 5, it will be free. And our elder statesmen and women that once they attain the age of 70, it must be free medical healthcare services for them. But you know our people, somebody of 6-year-old child, they will take him there. Amos say it's free. They cannot even clearly demarcate 0 to 5 years. So we have that issue. And we now realize that if by the time we put pen on paper, the number of people between ages of 5 and 69, they are so huge that even whatever we do, even with our pregnant women and the newly born to 5 years and those above 70, it will not show when you compare with the generality of the people. It will just be still insignificant, and that is the challenge that stared us in the face. So we now have to go back to the drawing board, and we came up with some programs. The first one was the Araya. You know, it's like when Gbomoro means, you know, the child is healthy, we want it to be continuously healthy. Then the Araya is when you are healthy. What is Gbomoro? Gbomoro, we just design it, it's like a conditional grant scheme where pregnant women are encouraged to call for their antenatal checks. So each time they come, we give them money. Indeed, we buy phone for them, we load the phones for them. So you will do 6 antenatal and 4 postnatal. The same way in England, in anywhere where when you have your baby, midwife will come and visit you. We were doing it for them. And we're encouraging them to come to the hospital. And when they have their baby, we give them with what we call mama kit. All that they will need, preliminary things that they will need for their babies, we give them. That is a huge success. But the problem is that we do not have enough fund to expand it the way we would have loved. But one good thing came out of that. Ever since we've started, we have not lost the child and the mother. So wishing is, if we have the wherewithal, we will stop all this child we will stop it. But we do not have unlimited access to fund. Much as we would have loved to do, we are curtailed. So because of that, we went back to drawing board again. Don't forget that I said that before we came, we do not have up to 50 doctors. And I'm not just saying this for the camera. But today, we have, I know that I don't have the precise number, but I know that there's no way our doctors will not be in excess of 200 now. We have taken in excess of maybe almost 2,000 medical personnel. You know, there will be dentists, the matrons, the nurses, the midwife, the other health technicians. But those that are doctors, I'm sure maybe about 200 or so, or probably a little bit more. And not only that, we now realize that we need to modernize. Of course, our tools, there are modern tools, modern equipment, modern way of doing things. Even those are hospitals that we have. Some of them have been built before I was born. You don't have OMMR, all those equipment, all those machines, scanning things, they don't have that. Even the way the ultrasound machine, how you will build the place, is not the way it was built then. So what did we do? We have 9 federal constituencies. We now realize that, wait a minute, aside from the primary healthcare center that we are doing, let us do a medium-sized hospital in all our 9 federal constituencies. Again, we have started. We have finished work completely. We are going ahead with the other 9. And in all our 3 senatorial districts, we want to have what I call specialist hospital, state of the art, in all our each of our senatorial districts. 3. But we cannot do that. We are not saying that as we are running around to build new ones, those that are there must be maintained, must be renovated. We run around, we've done some of them. Look at our teaching hospital, the only teaching hospital that we have. It was in a condition that is, in fact, a glorified, probably, a clinic, really. Nothing is there. Indeed, we have issues with the practitioners there. They were not happy with us. But now we thank God, we are happy with us. We cleared all their backlog. And we are improving on what is happening there. No light, no water, the condition there is terrible. So we have changed all of those. Indeed, as we speak now, if you look at the one we did, and I will encourage you to go and see, is in our small way, is as good as it gets. And with what we have done now, the Araya scheme, which is the ultimate, and that is the health insurance scheme that we put in place. How does it work? All you need to pay, we as state government, I think we will pay 3,000. The insurance outfit themselves. This is a collaboration with some international donors, international organizations, World Bank, all sorts, all of them. That's what we're doing. I think they will pay four naira. Will be responsible for 4,000. The state will be responsible for 3,000, and the individual will be responsible for the balance of the 3,000. If you look at the arithmetic, 3,000 in a year, which means we are talking about maybe 10,000 in a day. Because if you do 10 times 30, that's 300. If you do the 300 times 12, that's 3,006. It's even less than 10 naira a day. So for you to have access to health, efficient health care delivery system, I don't think 10 naira is too much. It's not even up to 10 naira. Maybe about between 8 naira or so. If you do the arithmetic to get 3,000 in a year, that's all we're asking for. Government will subsidize another 3,000, and I think the insurance, the team, there are many people involved. The idea is not everybody will be sick at the same time. So once that is in place, which is in place, we have put our own seed money. The insurance have as well. And I have good news, everybody is running around to register now because they've seen the workability of what we are trying to do. So that is one key area. And don't forget, for the newly born baby, pregnant mothers, and those our elders that are above 70, it's still free completely for them. How do I say it is free? The government now will be subsidizing the 6,000. The insurance will still pay their 4. But for those above 5 years and to 69 years, of course, they will be paying 3,000. The government will be paying 3,000. The insurance will be paying 4,000. So with that scheme, I'm sure we are going to get into that glorious era that health will be not only free, be efficient, very efficient healthcare delivery system. So those are the kind of things that we are trying to do in the area of health sector. next one is agriculture. Agriculture that will lead us to industrialization. That's the way it is coined, deliberately so. Don't forget that if you look at education, it's more of a social service. If you look at health too, it's more of a social service. But we need a platform, a premise on which all of these social services will rest. And that is why we believe that it is agriculture. Don't forget, and I'm happy that you know what I'm saying, it was agriculture that our forefathers used to redefine the entire landscape of Western region then. Indeed, our economy then is better than our economy now. It was agriculture that the proceeds from agriculture that they used to fund free education, to do all of this healthcare, efficient healthcare deliveries that they did. It was proceeds from agriculture that they used. Agriculture, indeed, that is where we have our comparative advantage, even as a state. Of course, I told you that agriculture that will lead us to industrialization. Agriculture will do so many things for us. One, we'll be able to feed ourselves. Number two, we'll be able to employ our people. That is one key challenge that we have. If we are able to get our agricultural sector right, we want to feed ourselves, we employ our people, we create wealth for our people, and we make money. Because when it is well done, indeed you will see that whatever we grow, that is the idea, we must process. Look at Nestle there. They need cassava, they need starch. Among some other raw material or byproducts that they do. Then in Ogun State, because they believe that yes, we are number one in cassava, they want cassava, they need cassava. So because of that, they start their company here. So that encourages us, our farmers, to say that whatever cassava you can grow, you can plant, we have off-takers for you. Just recently, ethanol, the first ethanol plant factory opens in Nigeria, in Agbada, here in Ogun State. What do they need? Cassava. So we went back to the basics and we realized that agriculture will be the thing that will help us, of course, to have this phenomenal growth, phenomenal industrial revolution. Don't forget that I've said it, that what we seek to do is we want to feed Lagos, our next door neighbor. In those years when we were growing up, there's this train they call Oko Idogo. Idogo is like the belt, really, where all this vegetable, pepper, everything leaves to go to Lagos every morning. Somehow, I don't know how we did it. The other time when we have some kind of challenge, I think with this insecurity from the north, when pepper and all of this were not brought to down south, we were running to the Republic of Benin, big shame. So we are changing that now. We are really. So we are zeroing on areas where we think we have a comparative advantage. Cassava, rice, palm plantation, cocoa. Then look at all our oranges, or is it citrus, or is it orange, is it mango, is it banana, is it pineapple, all of those. Just today, it's good for us to mention the chief good we are here. They have farms in Osun, Lalate. We want them to be here as well. This is where the market is in Lagos. Don't forget that we are gateway state too. We have access to the West African sub-region. So if you are in Ogun State, you can make Ogun State your hub, and you'll be feeding all the West African region, which is what Procter & Gamble is doing. Now Ogun State is now a hub. RAC, the biggest manufacturing outfit in ceramics, is here with us. So gradually, through agriculture, we will industrialize our state, because whatever we grow, we must process. And we are using that to encourage our young ones, young graduates, farm, because that's the way to go really. Instead of them running around to look for white collar job, how many? And that's the problem we have in this state. Everybody wants to work with the government because there are no industries, there are no factories, there are nothing. And for us to attract all of these industries, all of these factories to Ogun State, all our infrastructures must be there. And that's what people don't know. Now with our infrastructure in place, people know that even to move their product, to move whatever, quickly they will. If the security is there, they know that, oh, we can do business here. Our investment is secured. If the environment is conducive, the environment is neat, oh, everybody will even love to live with us here. We want to feed Lagos. We want to house Lagos. We want to move Lagos, and we even want to clothe Lagos. We're actually moving Lagos now. Because if you look at it, 60% of the people that works even in Lagos, more than in the ministry there, particularly those in the middle and lower Keda, they live in Ogun State. So the question is, oh, why can't we attract those top echelon of them to live as well here? And that's what I do. All our top shots in Agbara, I challenge them that, wait a minute, why can't we live here? And that's where we are creating that enabling environment for them to stay, not only work in Ogun State, to live in Ogun State. Many of these middle Keda, middle management and lower Keda, they all live in Ogun State as we speak. So we are now attracting the high-end one to come to Ogun State. Look at the area of agriculture as we speak now. We have cashew that we are doing, we have cocoa that we are doing, we have tomato. Indeed, look at even in the area of poultry. We are reviving our farm settlements. That's what we are doing.